is dedicated to increasing awareness of campus issues among the student body and providing a forum for debate and discussion on such issues. We plan to focus on pertinent topics of the student body and challenge campus leader on the pros and cons of specific university and student actions. I am Craig Greenberg, and along with Sam Goodstein and Flint Weymouth, we will be the hosts of Utah. Tonight, our first guest is Julie Neiman, President of the Michigan Student Assembly. Julie is an LS&A senior, majoring in English, and is from Cincinnati, Ohio. Julie was elected last March on the Michigan Party ticket. Julie inherited an improved assembly that was also led by the Michigan Party for the previous year. President Neiman came into office pledging to dedicate her time to working to improve campus safety, fighting for a student region, and continuing to strengthen MSA's role in the university community and improve its faltering image. We will find out tonight how she has pursued these goals and whether she has achieved them. Many, including myself, have praised Neiman's efforts to date, noting that MSA is a more active and credible student government than ever. However, some have also highly criticized Neiman's and the Michigan Party's leadership of MSA. These negative criticisms focus on cutting funding to the Ann Arbor Tenants Union and not working hard enough to protect students' rights and fight the university's conduct code. Those critics note that the AATU provides an unduplicated and valuable student service that only costs each student 25 cents, and that under Michigan Party leadership, the university administration has continued to implement restrictive policies while doing nothing to change the Statement of Student Rights and Responsibilities. Each U-Talk episode will be comprised of an interview with a selected student or university leader, followed by a roundtable discussion with Sam, Flint, and myself. Tonight, we begin our program in Julie's office on the third floor of the Michigan Union.
Hi, I'm Sam Goodstein, and besides being a host of this show, I'm the editorial page editor of the Michigan Daily.
Hi, I'm Flint Weymouth, and together with Sam, when I can wean myself away from the camera, I am the editorial page editor of the Daily.
Hello, I'm Craig Greenberg, and I'm a former president of the Michigan Student Assembly. Additionally, I was a founder of Julie's Michigan Party.
Thanks for coming today. 8 months into your term as MSA president, I think that a lot of students still associate Julie Neiman and the Michigan Party with the Ann Arbor Tenants Union. I was wondering if you think that's an accurate perception, and if not.
I think that that's one of the issues that's popular on campus and that a lot of the parties confront, and I don't think it's the sole issue, in my mind, behind the Michigan Party. Our platform is based more on getting student representation on the Board of Regents, fighting for more funding for student groups, and for improving campus safety. AATU was an issue in that we didn't agree with the way that they were funded, but it wasn't the only issue. And I think that kind of clouds some of the more important issues.
Andrew Wright said in a recent edition of the Daily that the last MSA election should be a referendum on the Tenants Union specifically. Do you agree with that statement?
Meaning what?
Meaning that a vote for the Michigan Party is a vote against the TU, a vote against the Michigan Party is a support of the TU.
No, I don't think so, because that, first of all, is bringing the Michigan Party down to one sole issue, and that's not what we're about. And second of all, at least it's not my position or my stance to think that the Ann Arbor Tenants Union is, that we should destroy the Ann Arbor Tenants Union. That's not my goal. I don't agree with the way that they're funded, because they have in the past they have $24,000 line item, no questions asked. And all other student groups had to go through budget priorities, and I think that that's the way their funding should be handled.
Shifting gears a little bit, one of the most important issues students have together is the Statement of Student Rights and Responsibilities. And your party is taking a strong stance against that. I think you could update the progress you've been making on this code and the progress you've been making on this code.
Sure. MSA just reaffirmed our proposed amendments, which were number 6. And we reaffirmed those and advised the judicial advisor for student affairs that we had done that. And also, we have just established an advisor corps, which will help students who are charged under the code or want to bring charges under the code or whatever, people who are facing the code in some way. If they need kind of counseling or advice, that MSA has trained representatives to assist them and go in hearings and help them out.
We don't like to code. That's a given. So it's just how we're going to handle it. I think in the past we've done a lot of talking about it. We don't like it, we hate it, but no one's ever supposed to do it. It's the advisor corps that we're handling it.
know who those panels are come from, Mary Lou McNamsty's office. And so she's the only person with access to those names, which, to kind of protect them from being harassed or whatever, I can understand. But at the same time, if we don't have any way of encouraging those people in general postings, it's difficult to really do anything.
On the day that we're filming this, you went in front of the Board of Regents, and I know that you talked about a non-voting student group, just having a student serve in a capacity where they couldn't vote, but they could bring student concerns. Perhaps that would be the MSA president, MSA vice president, or someone elected. Can you tell our viewers anything about the state of the non-voting student region at this time?
Like I said, I went to the Board of Regents today, and I had written a proposal a couple weeks ago and submitted it to them, so they received it with their agenda. I kind of gave my little spiel that this is really important. We need, open and direct communication so that we can mutually, further the mission and goals of the university together. And they were receptive. Regent McPhee spoke openly in favor of it, and very eloquently too. So I was impressed. And then no one objected or said anything else about it. And then afterwards, after and before the meeting, I was approached by several regents who said that they really liked the idea and would like to see something happen with it in December. Looking forward to that.
Of course, after the November election, there are two new Republican regents, Dan Horning and Andrew Fisher. I was wondering what your feelings on their election were.
As the daily publicized their views on something like this, too, like he represented on the board. Horning was against it, I believe, and Fisher was somewhat supportive. So I don't know how that really differs from the two incumbents that lost, because Waters was for, and Louise Brown was not all that unhappy about it. So, it's pretty much there's nothing to stand
As far as other issues you think about the election?
No, I think some issues are going to be affected. I mean, now that those county regents, board regents, those have split up as Republicans. So obviously, I think that the battles are going to be a little bit more intense and a little closer, simply because you don't have the big two and Dan with those other companies.
Do you see any sort of Dean Baker, Dan Horning alliance forming?
Oh, yeah. I thought, actually it was funny, Dean Baker pulled Andrea Fisher, because the two new regents were observed the meeting today, pulled her aside in the corner of the regents' room, and I'm like, oh, it's starting now. We'll see what happens.
I want to shift gears again. The Black Student Union has excluded non-African Americans from their meetings, and this is really an open violation of Regents Bylaw 1406. If the Black Student Union comes to you next semester asking for funds from MSA, what is your feeling on that? If they're an open violation of Bylaw 1406, would you be willing to deny them those funds that they ask for?
I did some research on this, looking at MSA standards, and what we look at, what constitutes a student group, what they need, the prerequisites for funding. And I looked through our constitution and our code and found nothing that, because I was sure it had to be somewhere in MSA code that if you were a group that was discriminating against people, then surely you couldn't get funding from us, or you couldn't be recognized as a student group. I found nothing to evidence that. So although my initial reaction was no, they shouldn't be funded, it's a touchy issue. I don't know, I guess I'd like to sit down maybe and speak with Nina Smith, the speaker, and kind of see where they're coming from and review the bylaws.
Would you have any interest in amending the MSA Constitution to have some sort of provision like 1406?
Yeah, but I'm wondering how actually useful that is, given the nature of a lot of student groups, things like fraternity sorority. Women cannot join a fraternity, therefore they would be denied funding. If maybe different religious groups or whatever, then that they're specific or ethnic groups, it could really start pushing away groups. So it would have to be reviewed possibly with more other student groups, and not just how it impacts the BSU, but other schools.
This summer you were involved in an organization called Leadership 2017, and I believe that it cost the university $80,000. And there's been criticism of both you and editor-in-chief of the Daily, Jesse Halliday, as well as some other leaders of organizations, as maybe getting into bed, so to speak, with the administration.
really known for a long time for its student activism and its powerful student leaders. And you can make an argument that that era has really died, or you can make probably a very good argument that that era hasn't died so much as times in general have changed and the issues have changed and they're not as salient to most students. As MSA president, I'm really curious to know what your perception of the state of student leadership on campuses, because you have for the average everyday student walking on the diag, they think of student leaders, there is no Tom Hayden or great, anti-war protester to think about. But from your point, you're in here all these hours, you're doing stuff. So where do you see the state of student leadership today on campus?
I think first of all, the student leaders have realized I think there are probably more benefits from communicating and actually sitting down and trying to compromise than there is in standing and screaming. So I think that in that one respect, I think they've seen the results of working together. I mean, that's why there's that shift. I don't believe the student activism is dead. As a matter of fact, the Women's Issues Commission of MSA rallied at the state capitol today to get the Campus Sexual Assault Information Act passed. So, I think that there's a time and place, and you have to find the appropriate context. I mean, I could find an issue standing in the middle of the diag and scream and cause an uproar, but if I don't have a real solid issue to get behind, then there's no point.
Would you say the code is an issue that students can get behind?
Yeah, I think so, but the problem is students aren't informed enough, I don't think, to actually rally behind it. I don't know if it's student apathy or if it's just PR problem on behalf of student affairs or MFA or whoever's dealing with the code.
It's a very complex issue.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot, students I don't think realize. Most students think, well, I'm a good kid, it's not going to affect me at all. So, there's that issue to deal with. If students were informed and realized how, the implications code could have upon, their lives on campus, and I think that they would maybe rally on the code.
As MSA president, I think there are two spheres that you really work in. One of those spheres is reaching out to students, because a lot of students still don't know what MSA is. At the Daily, we were doing endorsements for the next MSA election, and there was one candidate that said, I'm running on a platform of I don't know what MSA is, I don't know what it does, and I don't think anyone else does either. So obviously that one sphere is trying to alleviate that problem, and the other thing would be kind of intra-party and internal MSA politics. There's been accusations that you went back on deals with lobbying, that you had said you would have a student lobbyist and then you didn't, and that you went back on deals with the tendency. And those mostly came from student party candidates. And so a lot of them argue that it's difficult to work on the assembly because they feel like they can't trust the Michigan party. How do you feel about that?
I think it's a two-sided issue. The one issue that comes to mind to me that I never really heard before is that going back into deals regarding lobbying, we budgeted for a grassroots effort, involving students, and that is exactly what happened today with students going to Lansing, to lobby. And I believe they've been in touch with the lobby firm that we hired and been working on circuit as well. So that I have a hard time finding any kind of example of that, because I was definitely very well understanding we had student participation, student involvement in lobbying. As far as the AAC, that's always been the excited issue, because there's lots of promise what, and I remember meeting with Chief Maurer and saying, I'm not promising anything, stand up in meetings and try and quote me on it. I don't want you to do that. So I think it depends. I've always told the assembly that if you have a problem, questions, concerns, advice, whatever, come on in and talk to me about it. That goes for pretty much anything, because I don't claim to be perfect in my leadership role at all, and I know I'm going to make my mistakes, and someone's kind of, remind me every once in a while. I don't take the Michigan Party as divisive. I think that we have the goals aligned with the convention body. And I think a lot of times it does get down to a political issue, internally with MSA. And I think the first example of that was when someone asked, the whole AAC issue again, someone was asking for $6,000, and someone proposed, well, give them 4,000. And someone said, no, no, we want, all or nothing. And then one of the Rackham students, James Brown, stood up and he said, I didn't get all I wanted in federal grants or, loans, this year, but doesn't mean I'm going to throw it away. I'm going to take what they're going to give me, So, you have to kind of question where's the loyalty and where's the political issue. So, it goes both ways.
Whereas A2 is sort of divided the assembly in a lot of
really did make a difference. So I don't think lighting is the sole issue. I think that it's analyzing campus and the safety walks that we put together will hopefully produce results. I know that Bill Crump in the Michigan administration is really eager to get those results and start working on them in those areas where we can make some improvements. So the safety walk is an area that we are trying to figure out what's wrong with that project.
Do you think the city council is dedicated to increased lighting and other safety issues as MSA?
I would hope so. I really hope so. I've heard some remarks as well. You know, people should put their porch lights on. It would be a lot safer. Well, no. I mean, I don't think that's the panacea for the whole thing. So I think I would hope so. Andrew Wright has good relations with city council. They're religious, loosely basis, you know. So hopefully they will be willing to put some of the administration together. So if any, like you said, it's a non-divisive issue. Everyone can actually pull together, get the information and resources together. Hopefully we can do better.
Thanks for coming.
All right, thanks.
Welcome to our political roundtable, where we hope to discuss many of the issues which our guests that we interview on each show talk about.
Hi, I'm Sam Goodstein, and besides hosting the show, I'm the editorial page editor of the Michigan Daily.
Hi, I'm Flint Wayness, and I'm Sam's co-editor in those moments when I can wane myself away from the small screen.
Hello, I'm Craig Greenberg, and I'm a former president of the Michigan Student Assembly, and a year and a half ago I helped found the Michigan Party. Tonight we heard Julie Neiman, the current president of the Michigan Student Assembly, talk about her goals and how she has worked on achieving those goals. And I thought many of the things Julie said was great, knowing what it was like being president of MSA and really many of the constraints that I had when trying to get things done. I think such issues as her campus safety crusade and working the student region sounds like it's progressing along very well, are very admirable. Oh, you know, one concern I have and that I can sympathize with Julie is that it's difficult to get anything done at this university. It's even more difficult when you have the Michigan Student Assembly that's very partisan and that is structured in such a way so that many things have to get voted on and politics comes into the realm. What do you all think about those constraints that a president like Julie, who has such an ambitious agenda, put on her?
You would frame it that way, Craig, as Julie was your successor and the next in line in the Michigan Party. But I think one important thing really wasn't fleshed out during our discussion, and that is that the nature of student leadership on this campus has so fundamentally changed. You always hear the hark back to the 1960s, remember Tom Hayden. But the fact of the matter is, there isn't a war these days. There isn't an upper middle class white school. Well, that's a debatable thing. But it's obviously changed over time, and a lot of students have to work and simply have too many time constraints, and some of the issues they just simply don't care about. So I think that what needs to be remembered is that leadership is not dead. It's simply changed. And that the few positions where leadership can still be exercised, like the MSA president, can't just be positions where you use as a pulpit not to make a great plea for student interest, but where you go in sort of smoky back room with Maureen Hartford and the rest of the administrators.
So are you saying that Julie should be free to act on her own and not worry about the constraints the assembly might put on her? Or what are you trying to get at?
When you talk about Julie acting on her own, I think it's really interesting to consider sort of the mandate that she has. I mean, you have to remember that only 10% maximum of the student body votes for the MSA president. So when you talk about student representation, it is true that the nature of student leadership has changed. More people have to work now. It's a much more diverse campus, and a lot of people don't have time to get involved. When you talk about Julie's powers and the mandate that she has, I think it's interesting to consider that she really doesn't speak for the student body. She speaks for the 10% of the students who voted.
Now, Sam, I have to take issue with you on this one. Usually we're going to be in the same camp here. I would venture to guess on a lot of issues. But I think that if you look at most campuses where they're not voting when they sign their tuition checks or anything like that, the fact is you get election turnout under 10%. And that's just how it's going to be. And that's a constraint that's going to exist.
Well, I don't deny that's going to happen. I'm just saying to say that the MSA president has a mandate of the students, to say that student leadership is really strong, I think is difficult to do when the student leader doesn't really speak for anywhere near a majority of the students.
but does that matter? Even if, as long as, don't you think it's important to maintain the strong institution of a student body president and someone that, regardless of how many people voted in elections, they're still an elected
Certainly,
leader?
and I
mean,
think
nationally, obviously it's a lot higher, but it's still everyone does.
39% in the last
Exactly.
election.
Right.
That's really no.
That's true, and it's also interesting to consider the way MSA has changed only in the last 3 years since we've been on campus. I mean, our first year, MSA really, to me, represented a microcosm of national politics. You had the Progressive Party and the Conservative Coalition.
And it was ugly.
And it was ugly. And since the Michigan Party has come into power, maybe somewhat to Craig's credit, the microcosm, the microcosm of national politics has kind of ended. And I think what we're really going to see now is a new, we call it an era of good feeling at the Daily, but a time when the issues at MSA are really students versus the administration. Things such as the code being probably the best example, the DAG policy being another, or students trying to work with the city on things such as lighting to make the streets safer. So I think we're going to see a lot less of divisiveness on MSA than we did in the past. Of course, if the Students' Party does very well in the election that's taking place today, that may change. It'd be very interesting to see.
What I find interesting is that I always expected that going out and talking to students, if you explain the data policy, if you explain the code policy, that they'd be up in arms. They would say, let's mobilize, remember the 1960s. But the truth is, when you explain it to them, a lot of them think that's a good procedure. They're not even that concerned that 30 miles off of the end, in Ypsilanti, you can get brought up for something you do. And so I think a lot of it is almost the elitism of student leaders like ourselves in many cases that want to think that students are apathetic when it's really just that students don't really
Well, I don't know if they necessarily disagree. I think part of the problem is that they just haven't been made aware of the code, and that a lot of the student leaders themselves don't understand the full ramification of the code. I think one thing that can really help, for example, I think the way the students are going to find out is by talking to their leaders of the smaller organizations, they might be it. And one way that I think that student leaders might learn more about an issue of the code and become more active on it is through something like, for example, Leadership 2017, which Julie talked about, which I know we might have a discussion about. However, I think that networking provided to 15 of the most important student leaders on this campus, now every one of those 15 people knows about the code, they know about the diet policy, they know about union issues, and they can go back to all their different constituencies that MSA will never reach, and hopefully something like that can start generating more student involvement in an issue like the code that seems boring or that students might not know about.
I have a question, Craig.
I have an answer.
When Maureen Harford offered you and Brian Kite, when you were president and vice president of MSA, tuition waivers,
Yes.
why did you not accept them?
Well,
The Daily took such a hard stance.
well, no, because I'm never going to say I caved into the Daily, but because that's not the reason. Originally, I said that I would accept them, and the reason I said that is I think the reason that Julie, Jesse, and all of the other people from Leadership 2017 came into the program, and the reason for that is that I had enough confidence in myself and enough confidence of my ethics that I knew that I could not be bought off by the administration. That by Maureen Hartford offering money from the administration, that was strengthening the position of MSA because it made it more prestigious and more people could run for the office. However, I knew that I don't care if they were giving me a full scholarship. I still was going to fight them on the code. Julie, for example, just got paid all this money last semester. MSA has never worked as hard trying to fight this code this semester. They changed the DIAG policy. On issues of this stupid union dance policy, party policy, they pretty much changed it.
I don't think the concern is that nobody had a concern that you yourself would be bought up by the administration.
Right.
I think the concern with both that, with Maureen paying student leaders, as well as with 2017, is not that the specific people who are involved in it now would be a problem, but when you create a system like that, where all future MSA presidents and vice presidents are paid, or I mean,
But
more
if they can't
specifically,
take
we're
the
talking-
money away, though, the money's always going to be there. It's not like the administration is
That's
actually
true,
giving
but
it.
more pertinent to this discussion, I think, is 2017,
Okay.
where you're going to have future leaders working, and of course, the administration, even if they can't ever take the money away, the concern is that if you know that you're being paid your summer stipend, your rent in the summer is being paid by the administration. And I think it's a danger that you're going to be, the perception is that you're working for them, and when they pay you to spend time working on your own organization, as Julie was paid, to spend time here at MSA working on it.
But
I
isn't
think
it better,
that's a
almost
legitimate
on
concern.
that direct point, isn't it better that they're change in their organization than to pay them for administration.
Better than what?
Better than if they were, say, removing themselves from their organization for this summer, and instead of working on projects, instead of Julie preparing for this year, that they were paying them to do balloons and hearts and smiles.
That's a very relevant argument, but I think that the implications go way beyond questions of your personal integrity. The implications are that students who don't know much about their leadership see that there's a program funding the student leaders from the administration, and I think that completely diminishes the ability for you to govern, the ability to get people out and vote, because what they see is good. So even if your integrity is wonderful, which is
Oh, I thanks. That's a really good way.
but even if it's sweet and clean,
right,
the perception there hinders other leaders.
The perception is only made that because folks like you and I guess now me over the Daily say things like that, which is, true, you can't control who's going to be the student leader, but if the money's there and it's not going to be influenced by, if Maureen Harper's not going to take it away,